you get the banners?
You're watching Fourth and Wrong, a college football podcast. Thanks for watching. And now to your hosts, Chris Marler and T. Huck.
Wow, look at that. Look at that intro. My goodness. That's right.
Oh, I love
It is
it.
Fourth and Wrong. We're back. We are a college football show. I'm T. Huck. That's Marler. Chris, it's the off season. You want to talk Epstein files? What do you want to go with today?
So speaking of Epstein files, we got President Trump coming on the pod today with Josh Pate. Roundtable crossfire discussion strictly on OnlyFans. No, we're not doing that. We have a lot to talk about. We also don't have a lot to talk about, but I'm fired up to be back and talking. You and I are going to be in the same city.
Yep.
Tomorrow, but we won't see each other as usual.
We're not going to connect.
I'll be right down the road.
That's true. You will.
Your boy got his license back today, big dog.
I didn't know it was gone. What happened?
Neither did I, Tyler. Neither did I. I went to go get my license renewed, and it was a whole fucking thing. Preston Guy is here. No, I had to go get my license renewed today, and so I've been making that joke all day. Allie does not think it's funny. We're in Columbia, South Carolina right now. We'll be in Atlanta tomorrow for the PD concert, and then I might show up on your doorstep, to be honest.
Well, I invited you up to where I live. You and your lovely lady have some food while we get a babysitter for the kids. You said no go. Doesn't work for you. So
well, I don't know if we can. Also, right. You live in. First off, I made it to your house one time when I was on 3% battery, leaving Buckhead, Georgia, and I somehow one of the most confident moments of my life. And I was like, I'll find it. Like it's not a big. I'll find where he lives. Of course, I'll figure it out. But no, let's get into the show. We're doing a 30-minute show today. What do we want to talk about first? Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on. Should we open with some feel-good stuff?
USA, you'd think the USA hockey would be a feel-good story. It seems like it's turned into a natural controversy.
How fucking gone are we as a country that we can't even celebrate gold medals anymore? It's fucking pathetic. It's so fucking pathetic. Did you watch the game, obviously?
Oh, yeah. I woke up for it. I tried to get my kids invested into it as much as possible. The night before, we had USA chants going when we left dinner. But they kind of lost interest a little bit after maybe the first, I guess, what do they call it, periods in hockey. And, yeah, we watched the whole thing, me and the lady, and it was fantastic. OT, people were bitching about the 3-on-3. Whatever. I'm not a big hockey enthusiast. It was fine with me. Maybe if we would have lost, I would have hated it, but it seemed good to me. Chris has been frozen for the last 5 minutes, it feels like. So I don't know what's going on there. But
he has been.
Okay. I don't know how this is possible every time we record, but it's cool. Me and Boozy, let's chat about US hockey. What'd you think about the old Jack Hughes? What was the guy that scored the first goal? He had a great hockey name. Can't remember it now.
Great. It was with a B and a Y. And
yeah, that's right. Him. Boldy was his name.
Boldy.
That is such a hockey name. But yeah, so Atlanta used to have an NHL team. When I was in high school, I used to love it. Like hockey is one. Have you ever been to like a NHL game?
Not an NHL game, but a minor league game, the Tallahassee Tiger Sharks.
Yeah, the Tallahassee. So when I went to school there, I'd always heard about them, but they were already gone by the time I was there.
Yeah, golden years.
Well, we've lost 2 hockey teams here, NHL teams in the Atlanta area. One became the Calgary Flames, and then one became, I think, the Winnipeg Jets now. There's rumors that we're going to try for a third here. You know, we're like a modern family. Might try for a third, see how it works out. Right. I love it. Hockey is great. It's just hard for me to get into a sport when I don't have a team to root for. And when we lost the Thrashers, I was like, I don't care enough. And as you get older, it's harder to keep up with every sport. Like I barely know what's going on in the NBA these days. But
hockey is the most fun to watch for me as like a sport that I didn't play, a sport that I like don't really fully know the rules on.
right.
But it is like really, it is exciting. So
It's a great casual watch. Anytime you could root for the country, well, most of us at least, it's fun to do that too. Yeah, to me, it's like when we were at Florida State, it's big in the frat house to play the FIFA on Xbox, and I think World Cup was like 06 when we were there, so it was like the Zinedine Zidane headbutt.
which was yes.
But I think hockey, like I think it's better than soccer as a watch. But it's kind of the same thing where it's like maybe more goals, which is probably more fun, but just the fast pace and like the sideline guy was talking about how it was like the fastest he's seen in person in his life. I was like, that's pretty.
I mean, Boucher, he's like one of the great goalies, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's see if Chris 2 seconds, he says. That was 1
Brian
minute
Boucher.
ago, so we're behind schedule.
He played
But
for Philadelphia, I think. Brian Boucher was the guy on the sideline.
oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, it was cool. Gold medal for men's and women's. Got to make sure we give 2 for 2, as they like to say. Beat Canada in both, which is their sport, so that was fun.
Love the high sticking double penalty. Guy gets his jaw, his grill
tooth
gone, dunzo, and just keeps playing and then wins the game. Like, take that.
Between him and the goalie with that picture of him with like the stick, like having that incredible save, that and the Jack Hughes like smiling with the tooth missing with those 2 photos are going to make those guys so much money over the rest of their lives.
Americana.
It's kind of crazy to think that like in our lifetimes that we've never won gold in hockey. It'd been since 1980. So that was, I mean, obviously it was the first for us to ever see that. So I thought that was cool. We'll see if Chris
did you, since we're on the Olympics, did you see the individual like ice skating, the girl that did the floor or the routine? That's pretty sweet. Melissa Liu.
Oh yeah, I did.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then there was the girl that like basically got paid by China to like denounce her U.S. citizenship to come skate for them.
Yeah, something like that.
That was insane. You had the Canadians cheating in curling.
Yeah.
That was pretty serious offense there. Did the U.S. ever end up winning gold in men's curling? I was pretty invested in their matchup against Sweden, I think, who's like they were supposed to lose to and then end up beating them, but I kind of lost interest after that.
I mean, I think some combination of curling, because there were like 4 different events. There was like mixed, and then there's doubles, and there was this and that. So I feel like in one of them, there was some good medals there.
All right, the U.S. is coming up in the Winter Olympics world. We usually dominate the Summer Olympics, but Winter Olympics, I guess, bit of a struggle when like half the states don't ever get snow. It's always weird to me that when like I'm just saying this as because it's the first to come to my mind. I'm not implying anything, but like Iran has like Winter Olympic athletes. I don't think of snow at all when I think of Iran, but I'm guessing maybe there's some of the mountains that come in there. I'm not a big geography guy.
All right.
Marler's internet needs more work than Jack Hughes' teeth. The thing about Marler's internet is it doesn't matter where he is. He's in Colombia now. It didn't work when he was in Baton Rouge. Didn't work when he was in Atlanta. I mean, this guy's traveling the globe and can't get good internet wherever he goes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Some might think he just needs a new computer. I don't know. Could be me. Could be anybody.
Could be user error. The files are in the computer. So I'm scrolling through. Looks like there's a gold on the half pipe. Props to Alex Ferreira. Gold nice. On the moguls for the women. Elizabeth Lemley.
Here's a fun fact I learned. I'll tell you a little fun fact I learned. So I went to Park City for work in December, and we got to tour the U.S. like training facility where they train right before they're heading to go to whatever Olympics. I guess they probably train there every year. And they actually had the Olympic Games there, I think back in like 2002 or something like that. And they're gonna have them there again. And they give you like a guided tour where they took us to the very top of where like the bobsled starts, where those what is that? What is the like the huge jump? Is whatever that's called? Slalom?
Like X air or whatever. Yeah.
Did you know that they never get like more than 10 feet off the ground when they do that?
No. Is that the one where they
Not the one where they go and they do all the crazy flips, but it's just like how far they can like launch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the way that they slope the hill, they're never more than 10 feet off the ground. I always thought they were like way up in the sky. Maybe that was just a dumb thing by me, but
is that the one where they were like steroiding their junk to get bigger suits?
I think so. Yeah.
For like more parachute.
Yeah, they're trying to get like the what is that? The squirrel suit or whatever, the flying squirrel suit. Yeah, that's an interesting tactic. I mean, it seems like the Olympics are basically just full of people trying to cheat the law any way they can, all the time. Like every Olympic Games, it's like something else comes out. You know, whether except for the breakdancer from where was she from? Like the Ukraine.
Oh, that was Australia, I thought.
Australia, yeah. Oh, look who's back. Let's see.
New Zealand or down under.
We've just been chatting Olympics ever since you've left, so it's going well.
So fucking gay. I don't even like. I'm just so fucking tired of it. I don't. What am I supposed to do? Like every time we are. It's
tough.
Anyway, it is tough. What did I miss? We talking about the Olympics?
We did a lot of Olympic talks. Probably time to move on.
Damn it! I was fired up for that game.
Any last words on the Olympics?
I will just say that it was awesome watching that hockey game. I just couldn't. There's so many chances they had to win it in the third period, and they like kept fucking up and kept missing open goals, and like Canada. I mean, Hallebuck was awesome. I mean, he was fucking incredible. And then the way they won at OT, it was just like I forgot that it had been 46 years. I just was very disappointed at some of the reaction afterwards of people that were like choosing to shit on that moment of how great the moment was because they made it political. Like everything becomes political in this country.
Yeah, I mean, I thought like Jack Hughes, the interview after when he was like he kept everything about like being so proud to be from America and all this stuff. It's like, when do we stop like rooting that on? I mean, I get that people are mad after the fact that Kash Patel was in there drinking beers with them, and then Trump had the joke about being impeached if he didn't have the women's team. Like, whatever.
I didn't like that. I did not like that part because they won gold too. I want them to be at the White House, and I want them to like they deserve the same. They also did it in more dominating fashion, so I did not like that part of it. But the thing for me that was so
has nothing to do with the team. It's like, what did you expect them to stop everything? Be like, excuse me, President Trump. You can't be saying, there's another team here that deserves some respect. Like, it's just whatever. It was like in the moment, and who cares? To me, I mean, if the FBI director wants to have a video of him slamming a beer, like whatever. I don't care about that. It's whatever. It's just.
I love the fact that it was like the response afterwards, like we're never finding Nancy Guthrie, and that is horrible that that's happened. But it's also like we just like really people just want to be mad about everything, and then like the Huff Post comes out with that article afterwards that was like, I can't believe like if you're not feeling proud of the red, white, and blue or the gold medal afterwards, like you're not alone. It's like this is. I guess one thing I was most confused about was I didn't know that China was paying millions to some of our athletes to get them to perform for them, and
like
one of them
their citizenship and stuff.
And one of them did, and like whatever. Like I understand there was a lot of emotions involved for a lot of people. I personally am very patriotic, no matter who the president is, and I just thought it was awesome. I love that their resolve as a team. That was just such a huge deal to win that game. And for them to be criticized afterwards, I just thought it was kind of stupid. So,
well, speaking of Trump, our old friend of the show, Josh Pate, I think he's been on here the most, maybe out of any guest.
Yeah, probably.
He had an interesting guest on the show this week. in an interesting spot. Varsity, which if you've never been to Atlanta, varsity is like it's a staple, yet one of the like worst foods for your bodily functions later in the day.
Yeah.
So I guess that one was in Rome though. It wasn't the one in Atlanta.
I didn't know there was one in Rome, but yeah, it was in Rome,
They
Georgia.
put one in Alpharetta for a bit. Didn't do well. It didn't last.
I could see that. I texted him after I heard he was doing the thing. I was like, "Is this real or just AI?" He's like, "It's real." And then I saw the picture of it. I was like, "Is this at a fucking varsity?" And he was like, "Where else would it be, Chris?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fair. That's a very good point." Did you watch the interview?
I did. It really didn't give me any insight into anything about college
No.
football really at all. But whatever. I mean, dude, I could so care less about all these people getting mad and being like, I just thought Josh Pate was different. And like,
Yeah,
they
he's
just
the biggest media platform or person in college football that's not Herb Street, McAfee, or I mean, like,
Yeah.
do you remember when we had, or this is before you and I were doing the pod, but it was when I was at the SES pod, and we had one of our listeners, Mallory Blunt, who listens to our pod now, and she was the director of specialty media in the White House, and she asked me, "Do you like the day that Trump announced that he was saving college football? They had a whole roundtable discussion, and they were like, "Do you want to be on it?" And I was like, "What?" Like, they were like, "Yeah, it's like you, Dan Wolken, Ross Dellinger,
that'll
like
go well.
all those guys." And I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "There's only 3 questions allowed, so do you want to ask a question?" I was like, "No." Like, I'm just, and so we joined this. I remember, dude, I remember this happening, and I hated Trump at the time, and I don't
I was gonna say,
necessarily.
you like imagine if the hockey team would have won back then, you would have been like, I don't think these guys are that good.
That's not true at all, because I've been patriotic no matter who the president is forever. That's what I've always said. But my thing about politics is way more about hold people's feet to the fire and have them do what they're supposed to fucking do for us in Washington and around the country, and that is serve the people of the United States of America for the better. And
Maybe not waste
so,
our tax dollars on complete bullshit. But yeah, I mean, we can move on from that.
no, let's talk
Everybody
about
does that.
Somali fraud.
Both parties do that. Both parties do that.
That's fair. So, but they had me on this stupid roundtable thing, and it was really cool. But it was like it was so out of place because they were like, okay, in our roundtable panel, we have Ross Dellinger from Sports Illustrated, we have Pete Thamel, ESPN, we have Dan Wolken, USA Today, Chris Marler, Saturday Down South, and I was like, hey, and I remember I had up until that point my personal social media. This is still when I was doing a lot of stand up comedy, and I was
It was a dark time.
very. Yeah, I was a very, very left leaning. And I remember I had been like, I was so constantly obnoxiously vocal about how much I hated Trump and said it on the pod, was very, very adamant. I did not mince any words with it. 95% of my comments about him on social media were all way overly negative. And just a lot of stuff. That's what my entire presence was in regards to him. Stand up comedy, same thing. A lot of low hanging fruit jokes about Trump, blah, blah, blah. I got called racist by people that I had known for 20 years immediately just because I was on the call. And it was like, how the fuck do you want me to pass up the White House? Dude, you know the first thing I did when they sent me the email from the White House? I tried to forward it to you and Jeff and all my other friends. And I was like, check this out, check this out. And like, I get a call from a restricted number. They're like, are you trying to forward an email from the White House? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, don't fucking do that. Like, you cannot do that. But I just thought it was a cool. I don't know, somebody from the fucking White House. They were like, they were like, you cannot do that because it had like the Zoom call link in it that gave access, and they were like, are you stupid? And I was like, yeah, I mean, probably, yeah. But no, luckily they have something in those emails. It's like you cannot forward them and give access to other people. But the whole thing, I just thought it was so bizarre because I was like, I've been so loud about how much I disagree with this, and I was kind of dragged into it the most. Or right away. The thing with Pate, I said this from the beginning. I don't have an opinion on any. I don't care about his politics. I've known him for 13 years. He's never talked to me about politics. He's one of my friends in real life, and I support him. And if the president calls you to join the podcast, then yeah, we would. Spoiler alert: we would do it in a fucking heartbeat. And like,
can you imagine getting Trump on the StreamYard? Like you're freezing up, the audio's going out. I'm like, sorry,
We need to work on this internet. Some people say you have great internet. They don't have great internet in South Carolina. That's where he is. That could be a blue
Fulton
state.
County,
That's
I
probably
tell
why.
you. Fulton County.
But no, I think I thought the internet itself, or the interview itself was not great. I thought Trump was very. I don't even think he was dodgy. I thought he was old. I thought he was just old, and it's like he went into this like what he was talking about the fucking NFL kickoff rule, and then like. But that being said, I the reason we're even bringing it up is because obviously the Trump thing, it was huge news for one. Two, my bigger question, and it's something he did not answer, was there are so many things that need to be fixed in college football. I truly believe that Josh Pate is one of the people that really wants to see that happen. Um, I don't think that this was something that really got that done, nor was it supposed to get that done. But also the outrage from people strictly over the president, and I understand all the fucking stuff that surrounds it. I get it. I have been that person that has hated this person very loudly. I just am so over the fact it's like we can't. So now we're gonna cancel this person because the president.
Yeah.
Tell me who is someone you would turn down on an interview?
You just want me to list them off, or?
I mean, do you have a list, a short list?
Yeah, the head of ISIS. I think I'd say, you know what?
I have some words for him.
Okay, so you let him on.
Yeah, I
Next
got some
guest,
things I want to say to ISIS.
following Trump, right after Trump, get a
Round table.
get a rebuttal from Kalamini or whatever from Iran.
It's just
Anyway.
it bummed me out because it's like it really does suck because I don't. You and I have been on opposite sides. We've been on the same sides. We've been back on opposite sides. But like, it just doesn't like that doesn't make me feel differently about you as a person. I think you're stupid because you choose to be a Florida State fan, and I think
It's
Eddie's
in my
stupid.
blood.
I think Eddie's stupid because you've met Eddie. I mean, there's no need to have an explanation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all that needs to be said.
But it bums me out that we just can't have any discourse about anything anymore. Just like I don't even care to engage in like a argument about it because I'm just so exhausted from it's like, all right, well, have your opinion. Like, maybe you're more invested into it than I just wish that we could just fucking not be so angry about every goddamn thing that happens in the world. Everything.
Yeah, it seems like that train has left the station, and it's probably the woke stuff has slowed a little bit. I think the rise of like comedy and making it okay, and like then those comedians becoming like like Shane Gillis, like he's fine pushing the line. He'll say shit that's like you couldn't have said in 2021.
Right.
But then people start to like that stuff, so it just becomes a little bit more normalized. I think the hatred thing, because it's especially with politics, there's only two sides you can pick, really.
That's my
So
big
it's like
thing, man.
you're automatically gonna hate, but then it's just like to me, you get out into the real world, it's a lot of like really old boomers that are real passionate about it. But otherwise,
Yeah.
like I'm not sitting around chatting politics with.
No.
I mean, I've got in my real work, I've got clients that are our age up to 55 that will chat about it just because it has to deal with the markets and stuff. But
Yeah.
if we don't agree, it's not like we're gonna sit there and yell at each other, And it's
I
just
don't.
like
That's such a
that's why
lost art, man.
online is tough.
It is, and I think that's one thing you have to remind yourself is that real life is not online, um, and there's so much more that goes into who people are than just that. And I think that we've done a really bad job of like minimizing and deducing people as a whole to just who they vote for. Here, let me put it in. I thought about this today. Let me put it in terms of college football terms. Okay, imagine if you had the choice of who you were picking to be a fan of, right? And in your mind, it's like, well, man, like I'm a Florida State fan, so like if you're a Florida fan, like fuck you. But imagine if like the only two options you had were Ohio State and Notre Dame. Like imagine if the only people that you could be openly a fan of, that you had the options to choose from. There was like you can be Ohio State or just Vol Twitter. That would be fucking awful. And that's basically the two choices that we were given to run the country. And oh, by the way, they're going to be old as fuck and way past like their due date of when they should be allowed to talk in public.
That's fair. let's move on from this topic and talk a
Yeah.
little bit about. I was hoping they would talk about how they were going to fix college football. Didn't
Yeah.
really hear a lot about that, so maybe we could tackle it.
I'm in.
I think this year there was 25% of FBS rosters were like turned over, essentially went into the portal at some point.
Yeah.
I just think
That feels low.
the best thing we
No.
could do at this point. Yeah, it does feel low, doesn't it?
Oh, man.
Yeah, anyways. The best thing we could do to fix this is NIL basically has become unregulated pay to play. They said they were going to try to put like Deloitte in charge of this. Deloitte is not paying attention to this. Has anyone heard of
No.
like things being submitted up to Deloitte about these $7 million NIL deals that these quarterbacks are signing? I mean,
No.
that's not fixing it. The fix is getting the NCAA completely out of the way.
Is it?
How that
Did you
happens?
think so?
I think so. I think this college sports at one point was not that hard to run, but college sports grew a lot over the last 25 years, especially football. There's too much money to be made. And again, we go back to what I said last time we recorded. If the NFL's product is going to get ruined, the multi-billion-dollar company, by having these kids lose their development by transferring all the time, then they'll step in and they'll fix it. Somebody's going to have to. But these caps of $20.5 million, like, is that a strict thing? Most people don't operate under that. So why even have it? So first of all, enforce rules that you have in place, but then really the tampering thing has got to be figured out. Like harsh penalties. I did see that I might have been Ross Dellinger or Pete Thamel said that they're meeting
Or me, all the big
like
ones.
extremely harsh penalties for tampering. Because I think that's kind of where a lot of this starts. Mid-season, a true freshman's blowing up at Marshall. You've got every SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10. Someone on the staff is in their DMs being like, what's it going to take? Or they're talking to their high school coach who they know from recruiting other players, and they're like, hey, we won't contact them, but you contact them. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. Figure out a way to not have it happen, because then I think you're not getting as many transfers. You're not having contact with people like you're not supposed to until you're actually in the portal. And I think that slows down a lot of it, but that's not the only thing. That's just one thing. I think tampering's got to be figured out sooner than anything.
So I think I would agree with what you're saying. For one, I think you have to make the salary cap matter. Because the 20.5 is not real, but like, because you can still have the collective stuff and all that kind of shit, and like what's fair market and blah blah blah. Part of that also, like On3 put out an article today from Pete Nakos, and it was like basically with 14 GMs, and they talked with like director of player personnel, staff members from across the country, and all those other people from Power 4 programs, and to a T or to a man, they all said who had the most spend for a roster this offseason. They said it was LSU, and they said that roster was around $40 million, which is what I've been saying for the past month or so. So 40 million, and then Auburn spending 30 million. It honestly, this is fucked up, Tyler. It made me feel better that it was only 40 million, because in my mind I kept thinking, all right, well, there's no way LSU spending the most. Probably Texas Tech. I bet if LSU's at 40, I would assume they're at 50. But if 40 is the top, at least we know where that's at. You have to figure out a way to make the NIL deals public record, and like at least have an understanding of this is exactly what the roster and salary is for each player you brought in. If we're going to make it professional, then we have to do the same thing we have for the NFL, which is, all right, if the salary cap is, making a round number, because I don't know what the NFL one is, like 200 million, then like this is what every single player is getting paid, and it's under that umbrella. And if you can't spend that much, fine. But also, like, you have to at least have a cap on it, because you are then creating, okay, who wants to be the Yankees? Who wants to be the Dodgers? We fucking hate that in baseball, but we allow it to happen. So, like, I think that's one thing. I love the tampering thing. I don't know how you fix the tampering thing, for one, even because if you set a salary cap, or like a cap for like whatever anyone's allowed to spend in general on top of the 20.5 million, people are still going to find their ways to cheat. Like in not just in football, they'll do it in basketball and all that kind of shit. That's why you have to have an actual, like, this is exactly what they're being paid. show their fucking W-2s. Like make sure we can enforce it. And if you want to end up spending like extra cash, whatever, and fucking deal like with the repercussions of that later, it's almost like we've gone so far past the line, Tyler. The way to fix it is by going in this antiquated way backwards, where it's like, all right, well, if you go over by $300 and you told us he was making this much, like you're fucked. Like these are the rules. We are going to enforce the rules. I don't know if the NCAA being obsolete is the right answer. They just need some form of the NCAA, this governing body, to oversee it. And then I think from there you got to find ways to make the competitive balance across the country for Power Four, especially the scheduling part of it. I think that needs to be worked out next.
Yeah, scheduling for sure. I know there's been some crazy ideas thrown out there. This will be the last topic we have here.
Sorry, guys.
So you had said something about Ari Wasserman, an On3 analyst.
He's a B word.
Who Chris doesn't like. He ats him regularly with mean things to say.
That's not true. I don't say mean things about him. He's just a moron.
Well,
Also,
on three,
Jake Crane and all them reached out to me today to set up a debate with him over the scheduling.
Are you scared?
Fuck no. What is he?
Right.
He hasn't made a valid point where he's done any research beforehand that I would be worried about it. Like, the only thing I'm worried about, Tyler, is you know how I get, and if I start getting all fucking amped up and can't control myself, then I'm worried about it. But no, my thing with the scheduling stuff is like his thing was about Bama and how they shouldn't, blue blood shouldn't cancel games, and they're gonna cancel this game against Ohio State. The issue isn't that it's Bama. It's not that they're canceling the game. The issue at first was the entire premise of the article was Paul Feinbaum said Alabama will probably cancel this game, and it was like, that's the source we're going with now? That like since Paul Feinbaum said it, this respectable member of the media is going to fucking write an article about it.
You're a regular guest on that show. You better slowly roll.
I don't quote any of his takes. I love Paul in real life. He's a great person. He's always been really nice to me. There's not a part of me that's gonna be like, I wonder what Paul thinks should happen next, and be like, yeah, that's my starting point for the baseline of what I think should happen in college football. Like, he's an entertainer, he's a radio host, and that's fine. I, again, love him in real life. Not somebody that I'm like, oh, I wonder what he thinks about the X's and O's of this game or anything like that. The issue with Bama canceling that game is that they have now gone to 9 conference games, and Bama is the only team in the SEC that for over 10 years planned 2 Power 4 games out of conference for the entire decade, which in hindsight was brave and great and good for them. They're challenging themselves, and it's also fucking stupid because apparently everyone else in the conference knew what was coming, which was 9 games. That's why Ole Miss, Auburn, teams like that, they scheduled like 4 to 5 total over the next decade. My issue with it is, if you're upset about them canceling games, it's bad for the sport. Like, what you need to actually be upset about, one, is something that's happened and not potentially happening. You also need to be upset about it when Indiana does it and Ohio State does it and Texas or whoever else. And they got upset about Texas and Arizona State. But my big thing is, if you really want scheduling to be fixed, then fucking figure out a uniform and universal scheduling like standard that all 4 power conferences have to make. So if you're going to have 9 conference games for every Power 4 Power 4 team in play 9 games in their own conference, fine. And then there's 3 games left. It feels pretty fucking simple to say, if the 3 games are left, you have to schedule 1 more Power 4 game. And then the last 2, schedule an FCS, schedule a G5. Or if you don't want to schedule FCS, schedule 2 G5s. But everyone just play the 10 Power 4 games. And then that doesn't fix everything, because you'll still have people saying, well, we scheduled Ohio State and this team scheduled, fucking Kentucky or Boston College, who, by the way, Boston College has scheduled a fuck ton of Power 4 non-con games for some reason. But like, I have no idea why they do that. But I just think what we really need at some point is like getting back to, all right, here's what everyone's going to do, so there's a level playing field in terms of like competition, because we've gotten so far away from it. And Greg Sankey hasn't helped, and Petiti from the Big Ten hasn't helped. And it's like everyone that's in charge of the sport seems to care so little about the fucking sport. And that's what's so disheartening about it.
Yeah, they care about the money, and that's where everything has been headed for a while. And it, again, it's not affecting ratings yet, but at some point, people start to care less and less about the sport in general when
Yeah.
it's just there's zero rules. The people with the most money they're breaking all the rules at the highest level, and then it just whoever's left to scrape up all the little bits that are left on the ground, maybe make a run like a North Texas, who just whatever.
Yeah.
That's fun, but like it's just gonna become more and more like that. And um I don't know, like they're getting the results that they want TV ratings wise right now, but I
That's
just
it.
think that they're gonna die out at some point if you can't get some rules that are uniform across the board, scheduling, NIL. I mean, I get the TV dollars are making things a little uneven, but somebody's got to figure it out. I'm glad it's not me.
The bubble will burst at some point of everyone. Like at some point, the numbers will die off, and people are going to stop watching as many games and tune into other shit like the NFL because of and like you brought up a really good point, like as usual, Tyler, where you were like when you said that the NFL, if their product starts to suffer because the college football model is so fucking stupid that they can't figure out how to develop players to make their product better, they'll
Mhm.
step in and do that. But at that point, how much longer is this sport going to suffer and go in the wrong direction before that happens until someone else saves it? Because the people in charge don't care enough about fixing it as much as they care about whatever. Like yeah, there's a shit ton of problems, but what'd you say the number was that we made? Oh, it was such and such $1 billion. Okay, well, then who fucking cares?
Yeah, like I'm a good example. I'm very frustrated to the point of like wanting to drop the sport on the off-season stuff, but then I'm
Yeah,
still watching the games because the games are still fun to watch.
yeah,
But at what point do you just become like, I can't keep up with any of the players? It's like college basketball for me. I like I can't watch college basketball. I don't know any of the players. I don't know any of these
no,
players. Like I won't. So that now I don't know anybody in the NBA. And it's like, at what point? I mean, you look out on the field. Florida State's a good example. Every starter's been at a different school within the last 2
right.
years. It's like, and they'll be gone next year. And it's
We'll
just
have
like, okay,
to we'll have to talk about this on the next episode, especially because it'll be closer to March Madness. But like the next iteration of all this is the shit you saw with Jacarius Peak for South Carolina and the school not sanctioned but like hosted, I guess, and like what's the best way to put it? Shane Beamer basically helped organize a 3-on-3 tournament for the football team, and shockingly, their biggest portal get had a horrible injury to his knee and is now out for the spring and summer. And it's like so that, and the kid from Kansas. Now the next iteration of all this is if we're going to be spending all this money on these players, and you get the Darren Peterson kid or whatever from Kansas basketball. I don't know if you've seen him. He's missed a third of the season. Tyler, he's one of the top 3 recruits. It's with Boozer's son, the kid AJ Diamondos or whatever, is a kid from BYU, and then him. He's a 3 million plus NIL kid out of high school. He's sat and taken himself out of at least a third of the games this season. And so now you're gonna talk about when you start affecting the pocketbooks of the boosters and all that kind of, and they back out, then we're fucked.
it's true. Until then, we're gonna keep watching, but something's got to get figured out.
Yeah.
We'll catch up. I don't know when the next time we'll meet will be, but we will catch up with everyone again multiple times this off season. We just wanted to, chat wasn't live. I saw there was some problems with
Twitter for some
Twitter.
reason.
Yeah, your Facebook account got delinked, so
What?
little lighter crowd tonight in the chat. But we appreciate you guys tuning in as always. As a reminder, go give us, if you're listening now, you're listening when this goes out on Apple and Spotify, 5 stars. Come like the video on YouTube, subscribe, like, unsubscribe, all that kind of stuff. You know, the tricks.
Yeah, I like that.
Get us up there. Probably not a great time to try to make a sprint towards the top
No,
of the charts in the offseason, but every little bit helps. So
Yeah, that's right.
we appreciate you guys tuning in. And for Chris and Tyler, we will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.